Hello and good afternoon. This is in regards to the Learning About Learning Through Cases of Learning Grand Competition, May 2013. My name is Alegra Montemayor, and I represent the Interdisciplinary Learning and Teaching Department at the University of Texas at San Antonio. I will be talking today about my proposed research study titled A Function-Based Assessment of Cultural Variables Specific to Treating Autism in China. Autism spectrum disorders, also known as ASD, is a neurological disorder that impacts three major areas of social and behavioral development, including social reciprocity, communication, and repetitive and stereotypic behaviors. This disorder impacts a child's social interactions and areas in communication in both verbal and nonverbal communication. Children with autism often display early signs of communication and language delays before the age of 3. China's population is approximately 1.37 billion people, and 13.7 million of those are expected to have autism. In 1982, China had its first report of autism. To this day, the number of children with autism has been increasing. While it is known that the number of children with autism is high, the prevalence of autism is still unknown. There are estimates that there are about 7.8 million individuals with autism in China in 2008. Yet the prevalence is underestimated. There is no specified surveillance network for children with autism in China, according to Wang et al. 2012. According to Soon et al. 2013, cultural influences may partially explain the lack of awareness for autism in China, which then leads to the underdeveloped services provided for children with autism and their families. Even more alarming is that the general policy for education in China states that if the child has a severe disability, they will be rejected by both mainstream and special education services. While a policy that promoted compulsory education in 1988 for all children, this is not a guarantee that children with autism will receive an appropriate education. Applied behavioral analysis was developed and has been refined primarily within the United States over the past century. Applied behavioral analysis, also known as ABA, is a process of systematically applying interventions based upon the principles of learning theory to improve socially significant behaviors to a meaningful degree. The principles of ABA can be used to identify children who are struggling with functional communication, social, and academic skills. ABA also documents each child's performance to determine the adequacy of each child's response to instruction in order to determine an appropriate level of instructional intensity. To this day, ABA has the largest evidence base for effectively treating autism. Overall, there remains a shortage of research on the adequacy of special education and related services for children with disabilities in China. Specifically, little is known about the availability of applied behavioral analysis services, which have been shown to have the greatest evidence base for treating children with autism. While special education services are provided for children with disabilities in China, this concept is still very new. The development of special education did not fully form until after the 1980s. Consequently, the information on the impact of autism on families in China is limited. There is a lack of trained professionals in the field of autism in China, and even greater is the urgent need for funded centers to help support children with autism and their families. This proposed study would add to the current literature to closely examine the service availability to children with autism and the opportunities available for parents. This study will assist the much-needed support for the Chinese community. The following research questions will be addressed in the study. How do parents of children with autism perceive this condition? What services are available to children with autism and their families? And what treatments do the parents see as being most beneficial to their child with autism? The following information is required for this proposed study, including 12 to 18 participants held in Beijing, China throughout the course of a longitudinal study. Data sources and data analysis are as follows.